Hey everyone, welcome back to English Vibes.
Hi, we're so excited you're here today.
I'm John.
And I'm Maya. We're here to help you practice speaking English naturally.
If you enjoy our videos, don't forget to hit subscribe and give us a thumbs up.
Yes, please. It really helps us. So today, we're talking about the future.
That's right. We'll teach you how to talk about your plans, dreams, predictions, and everything related to what's coming next.
This is such an important topic because we all think about the future, what we want to do, where we want to go, who we want to become.
Exactly. So let's get started. Maya, do you think about the future a lot?
I do. Sometimes maybe too much. I'm always planning and dreaming about what's ahead. What about you?
Same here. I like having goals and things to look forward to. So let's talk about the different ways we discuss the future in English.
Great idea. Let's start with simple plans. How do you talk about something you've already decided to do?
You can use going to for plans you've already made. For example, I'm going to visit my parents next weekend.
Or we're going to have dinner at that new restaurant tomorrow.
This shows you've already made the decision or arrangement. It's definite in your mind.
What about using will? When do we use that?
Will is for decisions you make at the moment of speaking or for predictions. Like, I'll help you with that. You just decided right now.
Or for predictions. It will rain tomorrow, or the movie will be really good.
Exactly. You can also use will for promises. I'll call you later, I promise.
That's helpful. Now, let's talk about near future versus distant future. How do you talk about things happening soon?
For the near future, you might say, I'm meeting my friend for coffee this afternoon.
Or I have a dentist appointment next Tuesday.
Using the present continuous, I'm meeting or I'm seeing, is common for scheduled plans in the near future.
What about things further away? How do you talk about next year or 5 years from now?
You might say, next year I'm planning to change jobs. Or in 5 years, I hope to own my own house.
Those phrases, I'm planning to and I hope to, show it's further away and maybe less certain.
Right. The further in the future, often the less certain we are. You might say, someday I'd like to travel the world.
Someday is so open-ended. It could be next year or in 20 years.
Exactly. Now let's talk about different types of future situations. How do you talk about career plans?
You might say, I'm going to apply for a promotion next month, or I'm thinking about going back to school.
For long-term career goals, I want to become a manager, or my goal is to start my own business.
You could also say, in the next few years, I plan to develop new skills, or I'm working toward becoming a senior engineer. Those show active planning.
What about when you're not sure about your career future?
You might say, I'm not sure what I want to do yet, or I'm still figuring out my career path.
Or I'm keeping my options open. That means you're not committing to one specific direction yet.
Good phrase. Now let's talk about education plans. How do you discuss future studies?
You might say, I'm going to start college in the fall, or I'm planning to pursue a master's degree.
Pursue is a great word for education. It means to work toward achieving something.
You could say, after I graduate, I'm going to take a gap year, or I hope to study abroad next semester.
What's a gap year?
A gap year is when you take a year off between high school and college, or after college, to travel, work, or explore before continuing education.
That sounds exciting. What about talking about learning new things?
You might say, I'm going to learn Spanish this year, or I plan to take some coding classes.
Or I want to improve my English skills, or I'm thinking about learning to play guitar.
These show personal development goals. Now let's discuss relationships and family plans. How do you talk about romantic relationships?
You might say, we're planning to get married next spring, or I think we'll move in together soon.
For less certain future, someday I'd like to get married, or I hope to find the right person.
What about family planning?
You could say, we're planning to have kids in a few years, or we want to start a family someday.
Or if you already have children, my daughter will start kindergarten next year. Or our kids are going to college soon.
These are big life events. What about friendships and social plans?
For immediate plans, I'm meeting Sarah for lunch tomorrow. Or we're going to a concert this weekend.
For ongoing friendships, I want to stay in touch with my college friends, or I hope we'll remain close even after I move.
That's sweet. Now let's talk about travel plans. This is one of my favorite topics.
Mine too. For definite travel plans, you might say, I'm flying to Tokyo next month, or we've booked a trip to Greece for the summer.
Those sound amazing. What about dream destinations?
You could say, I'd love to visit Iceland someday, or I hope to travel to all 7 continents.
I'd love to is perfect for dreams. You might also say, On my bucket list, I have visiting Machu Picchu.
What's a bucket list?
A bucket list is a list of things you want to do or experience before you die. It comes from the expression kick the bucket, which is an informal way to say die.
Got it. So bucket list items are big dreams. You might say, going to the Northern Lights is on my bucket list.
Exactly. Now let's discuss housing and living situation plans. How do you talk about where you'll live?
For near future, I'm moving to a new apartment next month, or we're buying a house this year.
For longer term, eventually I want to own a home, or someday I'd like to live abroad.
You might say, I'm planning to stay in this city for a few more years, or I might relocate for work.
Relocate means to move to a different place, especially for work reasons.
You could also say, I'm thinking about moving back to my hometown, or I hope to settle down in a quieter area.
Settle down means to establish a permanent home and stable life, often starting a family.
Great explanation. Now let's talk about financial goals. How do you discuss money and future finances?
You might say, I'm going to start saving more money, or I plan to pay off my student loans in 5 years.
For big purchases, I'm saving up for a new car, or we're planning to buy a house in the next few years.
You could say, I want to be debt-free by the time I'm 40, or my goal is to retire early.
Financial planning phrases. What about investments?
I'm thinking about investing in stocks, or I want to build a retirement fund.
These show long-term financial thinking. Now let's talk about health and fitness goals. How do you talk about future health plans?
You might say, I'm going to start exercising regularly, or I plan to run a marathon next year.
For lifestyle changes, I'm going to quit smoking, or I want to eat healthier.
You could say, I'm training for a 5K race, or I hope to lose 20 pounds by summer.
For long-term wellness, I want to maintain good health as I age, or I'm committed to staying active.
Committed to shows strong dedication. Now let's talk about hobbies and personal interests. How do you discuss future creative pursuits?
You might say, I'm going to start painting classes next month, or I want to write a book someday.
For learning new skills, I plan to learn photography, or I'm thinking about taking up gardening.
Taking up means starting a new hobby or activity.
You could say, I'd love to become fluent in another language, or I hope to master the piano.
These are enrichment goals. What about talking about technology and the future?
That's interesting. You might say, I think AI will change everything, or electric cars will be everywhere in 10 years.
These are predictions about society. You could say, in the future, we'll probably work from home more, or technology will make life easier.
Or more pessimistic, climate change will affect our daily lives, or the world will face new challenges.
Right. Predictions can be positive or negative. What about personal technology use?
You might say, I'm going to upgrade my phone next month, or I plan to learn more about coding.
Or I want to reduce my screen time, or I hope to use social media less.
Those are healthy goals. Now let's discuss how to express uncertainty about the future. Not everything is certain, right?
Absolutely. You can say, I'm not sure what will happen, or I don't know what the future holds.
Or I might go to grad school, or I might start working. I haven't decided yet. Might and may show uncertainty. I might move to California means it's possible, but not definite. You could also say, I'm considering several options, or I'm weighing my choices.
Weighing means carefully thinking about the pros and cons of different options.
What about when things depend on other factors?
You use conditional phrases. If I get the job, I'll move to New York. Or, I'll travel more if I can save enough money.
Or, unless something changes, I'm planning to stay here. Or, as long as I stay healthy, I want to keep working.
These show that your plans depend on certain conditions being met.
Exactly. Now let's talk about hopes and dreams versus realistic plans. How do you distinguish between them?
For realistic plans, you're more definite. I'm going to graduate in May. Or, we're getting married next June.
For dreams, you're more tentative. I'd love to climb Mount Everest someday. Or, in an ideal world, I'd be a famous actor.
In an ideal world shows you know it might not happen, but you dream about it.
You might say, realistically, I'll probably stay in my current job, but my dream is to open a bakery.
That contrasts reality with dreams nicely. What about expressing optimism about the future?
You might say, I'm excited about what's ahead. Or, I think the future looks bright.
Or, I'm optimistic about my career prospects. Or, good things are coming.
Those are positive. What about when you're worried about the future?
You might say, I'm anxious about the future, or I'm worried about finding a job after graduation.
Or I'm nervous about what's going to happen, or the future feels uncertain right now.
It's okay to express those concerns. What about when you're making promises about the future?
You use will with strong commitment. I will finish this project on time, or I promise I'll be there.
Or, I won't let you down, or I'll make sure everything is ready.
These show strong intention and reliability. Now let's discuss asking others about their future plans.
You might ask, what are your plans for the weekend, for near future?
Or what do you want to do after you graduate, for further ahead?
You could ask, where do you see yourself in 5 years? That's a classic job interview question.
It is. How would you answer that question?
You might say, in 5 years, I see myself in a leadership position, hopefully managing a team.
Or, I hope to have advanced in my career and perhaps started a family.
Good answers. What about asking about someone's dreams?
You could ask, what's on your bucket list? Or, if you could do anything, what would you do?
Or, what's your biggest dream? Or, where do you hope to be in 10 years?
These are deeper questions that really get people thinking. Now let's talk about making suggestions about the future.
You might say, you should consider studying abroad. Or, why don't you apply for that job?
Or, have you thought about starting your own business? Or, maybe you could take a year to travel.
These are gentle suggestions. What about giving advice about future planning?
You could say, it's important to think about the future. Or, you should start saving for retirement now.
Or, don't put all your eggs in one basket. That means don't rely on just one plan. Have backup options.
That's a great idiom. You might also say, always have a plan B. Or, keep your options open.
Smart advice. What about when plans change? How do you talk about that?
You might say, I've changed my mind about going to law school. Or, we've decided to postpone our wedding.
Or, things didn't work out as planned. Or, I'm taking a different direction now.
You could say, my plans have evolved. Or, I'm rethinking my priorities.
Evolved is a nice word. It means your plans have developed and changed over time.
What about when you want to be flexible about the future?
You might say, I'm keeping my options open. Or, I'm going with the flow.
Going with the flow means being flexible and not rigid about plans, just accepting what comes.
You could say, I'll see what opportunities arise. Or, I'm open to whatever happens.
That's a relaxed approach. Now let's discuss how to talk about immediate future, things happening today or tomorrow.
For today, I'm going to the gym after work. Or, I'll finish this report before 5 p.m.
For tomorrow I'm meeting with my boss. Or, I'll call you tomorrow morning.
For this week, I'm presenting at the meeting on Thursday. Or, we're having friends over this weekend.
These are all near-term, concrete plans. What about talking about life stages and milestones?
You might say, I'm turning 30 next year. Or, my daughter will graduate high school in 2026.
Or, I'm approaching retirement. Or, we're entering a new chapter of our lives.
New chapter is a nice metaphor for a significant life change.
What about talking about generations and future society?
You could say the next generation will face different challenges, or our children will live in a very different world.
Or, in the coming decades, society will transform, or future generations will judge us by our actions today.
These are big picture thoughts about humanity's future. Now, let's talk about expressions of time for the future.
We have so many. Tomorrow, next week, next month, next year are basic ones.
Then you have in a few days, in a couple of weeks, in 3 months, in 5 years.
Don't forget soon, shortly, before long, eventually, someday, one day.
And in the near future, in the distant future, down the road, further down the line.
Down the road means at some point in the future, not necessarily soon.
You might say, down the road, we might expand the business, meaning not now, but eventually.
All these time expressions help us be specific or vague, depending on what we want to say.
Exactly. Now let's practice some complete sentences about different aspects of life. Let's start with career.
After I complete my certification, I'm going to look for a better job.
By this time next year, I hope to be working in my dream field.
If everything goes according to plan, I'll be running my own company in 10 years.
Great examples. Now education.
I'm planning to enroll in online courses to improve my skills.
Once I finish my bachelor's degree, I might pursue a master's.
Someday, I'd love to get a PhD, but that's a long way off.
Perfect. Now relationships and family.
We're thinking about getting engaged this year.
I hope to meet someone special and settle down in the next few years.
When our kids are older, we plan to travel more as a couple.
Lovely. Now travel.
Next summer, we're definitely going to visit Japan.
Before I turn 40, I want to have visited at least 20 countries.
Traveling around South America is on my bucket list for the next 5 years.
Exciting. Now housing.
We're actively looking to buy our first home this year.
Eventually, I'd like to own a house with a big backyard.
In retirement, we're planning to downsize to a smaller place.
Good planning. Now financial goals.
I'm going to start contributing more to my 401k.
My goal is to have my student loans paid off by 2027.
I hope to achieve financial independence before I'm 50.
Excellent goals. Okay, we've covered so much. Let's do our vocabulary review.
Yes, we used so many great words for talking about the future.
First word, plan. A plan is something you've decided to do or a course of action you've arranged.
I have plans to visit my sister next month. Or what are your plans for summer?
Plans can be detailed or general, short-term or long-term.
Next word, goal. A goal is something you want to achieve or accomplish.
Goals are often specific and measurable. My goal is to save $10,000 this year.
Goals give us direction and motivation.
Next, dream. A dream is a hope or ambition, something you really want but might be difficult to achieve.
My dream is to become a doctor, or traveling the world is my biggest dream.
Dreams are more aspirational than practical plans.
Next word, prediction. A prediction is a statement about what you think will happen in the future.
My prediction is that electric cars will be everywhere in 10 years.
Predictions are based on current information and trends, but they might be wrong.
Next, hope. Hope is a feeling of expectation and desire for something to happen.
I hope to get promoted, or we hope the weather will be nice tomorrow.
Hope is more about wishing than certain planning.
Let's explain ambition. Ambition is a strong desire to achieve something, usually requiring hard work.
She has the ambition to become CEO, or his ambition drives him to succeed.
Ambitious people set big goals and work hard to reach them.
Next word, future. The future is the time that is yet to come, everything that hasn't happened yet.
No one can predict the future, or I'm excited about the future.
We can plan for it, dream about it, and work toward making it what we want.
Next word, aspiration. An aspiration is a hope or ambition to achieve something, similar to a dream.
My aspiration is to make a difference in people's lives, or career aspirations.
It's a slightly more formal word than dream or hope.
Next word, intention. An intention is a plan or purpose, what you mean to do.
My intention is to finish this project by Friday, or I have every intention of keeping my promise.
Intentions show what you want to do, even if circumstances might prevent it.
Last word, prospect. A prospect is a possibility or likelihood of something happening in the future.
The prospect of moving to a new city is exciting, or job prospects are good in tech.
It's often used to talk about opportunities or possibilities ahead.
So we learned plan, goal, dream, prediction, hope, ambition, future, aspiration, intention, and prospect.
That's 10 powerful words for talking about what's ahead.
With these words and all the phrases we practiced, you can talk about the future confidently in English.
Whether you're discussing tomorrow or 10 years from now, you have the vocabulary you need.
Now it's your turn. We have a question for you.
Write in the comments, what's one goal you have for the next year?
Is it career-related, travel, learning something new, personal growth?
Tell us in the comments. We love hearing about your plans and dreams.
And who knows, sharing your goals publicly might help you stay committed to them.
Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already.
And turn on notifications so you never miss a video.
Keep practicing your English every day. You're doing amazing.
And remember, the future is what you make it. Dream big and work toward your goals.
See you in the next video.
Goodbye, everyone. Best of luck with all your future plans.
Quick vocabulary review. 1. Plan. Something you've decided to do. A course of action. 2. Goal. Something you want to achieve or accomplish. 3. Dream. A hope or ambition. Something you deeply desire. 4. Prediction. A statement about what you think will happen. 5. Hope. A feeling of expectation and desire for something. 6. Ambition. Strong desire to achieve something through hard work. 7. future, the time that is yet to come. 8. Aspiration, a hope or ambition to achieve something. 9. Intention, a plan or purpose, what you mean to do. 10. Prospect, possibility or likelihood of something happening. Practice talking about your future. Dream big.